Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eve and this is Books of the Wild Waters, and today we do the first recommendation video I have been talking about a couple of weeks ago when I did the Why We Read video. Now the video that I actually planned for today, and which you will see today, is about the book adaptations that I think would win at the Academy Awards, and probably the best picture there. In the last couple of weeks, loads of people have been doing videos about adaptations, which I think is very strange because I planned this like for 3 months, and that just shows that some things just happen, right? And people want to talk about this. So at the moment it looks like I'm jumping on the bandwagon here. Sorry that it took me so long to actually do this video here, but yeah, the good thing is, except of one book, nobody has been talking about what I want to talk about actually, and it has been mainly something that the fantasy community has been doing. So there will be only one fantasy book here on the list of the 5 books, so I think we are quite safe that it should be interesting to you to see what I think would win an Oscar actually. The first book today is one that is actually a BookTube darling. I read it before I even knew about BookTube or any of this, anything that has something to do with this community. So I can only say the Oscar goes to Hanya Yanagihara, A Little Life. I think that should not be surprising to anyone who read this book. It is a drama. It will rip out your heart. You will cry, and you will feel everything that you're capable of, from hate, from disappointment, from fear, from love, everything. And I think that if someone has the right actors, that's something that we have to pretend here anyway, right? That we have like the correct casting, we have the best editing, we have a huge budget for all of the movies that these adaptations would be needing. And of course the right director, the right distribution, you know all of this. We pretend all of this is available for all of the books, so it would be for this one then as well. We follow actually a group of students, if you want, so after university, and how their lives unfold, what happens to them. And in the center of this book there is one of the guys, and his name is Jude. He is disabled, and he has not been disabled all of his life. So we actually learn what happened to him, how he connects to all of the people in the book and in the group of the friends, so to say. And yeah, it's a tragic story. It's not for the faint-hearted, and I will leave it at that, because I really think that you should be going into this book without knowing too much about it. And I'm 100% sure if this was a movie, it would probably win at least Best Picture, and if done right, also Best Male Actor. Best Male Actor? Best... what's that? Best Actor in a Motion Picture? I don't know. So the second book I'm quite sure you never heard of, and I hope that my video can change that. So the Oscar goes to Dennis Cooper, My Loose Thread. So this is a book about, I would say, everything that goes wrong in the US. Minus the Black Lives Matter situation, and so the black and white conflict that you have in the US. But this is, as you can see, a very short book, but it has an impact you can't imagine. It was the best book I read in 2019. And I don't know when it was published. It's older than that. But we follow Larry here. He is a teenager, and he got paid by one of his senior fellow students to kill another boy and retrieve the notebook of that guy. So this is already, the setup already is shocking, but everything that you will be reading in this book is shocking. And it's so intense. It's inspired by school shootings in recent years, and it's about the suppression of sexuality, it's about violence, it's about amorality, or, you know, the lack of morality. It's if there is nothing in life that matters, actually, and you have poverty. What if you're living in like a vacuum? If you have no feelings, no desires, no future for yourself. I thought this is it's so powerful, and I was shocked like the whole time. And I think that if you could get this to the screen, people would be horrified, but also hopefully learn something very important about us as human beings, and what a depraved society creates in our kids, and what kind of future that would be. This is such an important book. I hope that more people will read it, and yeah, it would probably be more for the alternative pick as the best picture book. It might be, you know, it would be a smaller company producing this movie, because it's very touchy. It's not exactly the material that the Academy Awards would be usually awarding something, but we always have surprises, right? And I think because this has such a strong commentary about society, that the Academy Awards would be interested in that. The next Oscar would go to Delia Owens' Where the Crawdads Sing. So this was a very beloved book last year. It was a bestseller, and we follow Kaya here, who is living in the marsh in North Carolina. We have two timelines here. We learn about her growing up in the marsh, and we also learn about her in the 60s being involved in the murder of a guy she supposedly loved. And it's a powerful story about how we treat minorities, how prejudices lead us to make it very hard for people who are not part of the ordinary life or ordinary society. It's also about women, what we think women should do, what they can do. Kaya is left alone, abandoned by her family, and she lives alone, she survives alone. So it's also a very feminist book and a feminist story, and we see what she's doing with her life, and yeah, of course, how this mystery, this murder mystery, will be solved. I think this would be a great Best Picture award. We would have beautiful depiction of the marsh and the nature, the connection of human beings and nature, of all of the birds that Kaya loves so much. We also have like some kind of a love story here, which is not very easy. It's complicated, and I guess with the right actress here, this could also be a Best Actress award. I urge everyone to read it. It's very interesting. It's full of suspense, and it would win, definitely. Next up is the fantasy book that I saw in another booktuber's list, actually, but she said it would be a book that she thinks should not be actually adapted, because she thinks there is nothing that a film could, so to say, bring to the story to make it better. I absolutely disagree, so that's why I had to put it on my list as well. And this is Tessa Grattan's The Queens of Innisley. So this is a King Lear Shakespearean retelling, and it follows the 3 daughters of King Lear who fight for becoming queen of the island. And this book is so full of, it's so atmospheric. It's like, the moment that when you read this, I think it's so hard not to see this as a film, not to see, you know, the nature, the wild nature, and the winds ravaging the island, and you know, the cliffs and the water and the nature, because there's a lot of connection to folklore and witchcraft, and you know, it's like spell binding enchantresses, and it's very, very good. I love it. And I think that it would be so interesting to portray these 3 women who of course are sisters but also rivals for the throne, and their different perspectives of life and what it means to rule, and whether they want to rule. And there are also 3 different characters, in one being very much, you know, a wife and loving her husband so much, and the other one being very innocent and young and not knowing where to go in life, and the third one, which is also very LGBTQ+, which I really like. She wants to be king, not just queen. She wants to be king because that's more like a gender fluidity, I would say. She is a warrior and she wants to rule on the island because she thinks she knows what's best for all of this, and everyone else is weak. So I love this book, and I think as a movie that this would be so captivating for people sitting in a cinema seeing this. I guess they would probably get an Oscar for the cinematography if they did it right, and it would be overwhelming in a good way. And I cannot recommend this book too much. I love it, and I wish this would be a movie. So, and the last book that I think would win an Oscar, I do not have here with me. It's in my parents' house. So this would be Joey Goble, Torture the Artist. I guess you would see it here or there. I don't know where I will put the picture. Actually, this is a satire, but when I read it for the first time, and it's years and years ago, it's probably 10-15 years ago that I read this book, I read it as a drama. It's about a boy, Vincent, who from very early on in his life, he shows that he has artistic talent, and his mother gets contacted by a company called the New Renaissance, and they want to put him in school, they want to support him and everything, and she thinks, oh great, because you know, she is coming from a relatively poor background, and she would not be able to support her son as an artist or artist's career, to actually support him there to get into this. But the whole time you think, when you read this book, something is wrong there. And I think when I read on Goodreads gives away a lot of the plot, which I did not know when I read this book. So please do not read any synopsis before that if you want to read this book. He goes through a lot of hardship, alcoholism, you know, a broken heart, depression, you name it. And because he's a writer, he writes about it. So, and there is a huge twist here in this book. That's why I said it's actually a satire or some kind of a parody, but you don't read it like this. And I think this twist would be phenomenal in a movie. I think in general this would be phenomenal as a movie. It's also having a very impactful social commentary, because it's about what culture is and how we see art, what we think art should give us and how we think art should be produced. I don't want to give away more than that, but I think as a movie this would be phenomenal, and it would sit with you after you watch the movie for such a long time. I think so. And I always hope that this would be, at least, I don't know, maybe today it could be also, like in these days, it could also be like a TV series, but I always hoped someone would adapt that for such a long time. And also I love Joey Goebel. I think he's such a great author, and nobody ever talks about him. So I think this would win Best Picture as well. So guys, these were my 5 books that I think should be adapted and would win an Oscar, definitely. Let me know in the comments down below whether you like that, whether you would see another episode of that, because you bet that I know a couple of more books that should be adapted. And let me know what you think should be adapted and would get an Oscar. I'm quite sure that we as readers know so many things that like the literature scouts for film should know about. And they usually don't, or don't get the rights for it, we don't know. But I'm interested in that. Let me know down below, and I see you guys in another video. Give me a like, a thumb up if you like this, and you will see new recommendations from me quite soon. Have a good one. Bye!